John in Augusta, first in, first up from the home of the Masters. How are you, John?
I'm great. How are you?
What's on your mind?
Hey, this national anthem problem. Here's why I think the NFL, why this experiment won't succeed. What's going to happen is when the players do not come out for the national anthem, they conduct the national anthem, and then after it's over, the players eventually come out onto the field, the fans are going to start booing profusely to them. I mean, everybody knows it, and then the media is going to run with the fact that they're booed. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, John, here's my thoughts on that is I don't know if anybody's going to know who was on the field or not. I don't know how you can, from the stands, tell who's there and who's not. And half the time I'm in a stadium, I can't even tell where the tunnel is half the time, and I'm a professional. So you have no idea if somebody's coming out or not, if they were getting treatment or not. You have no idea if they're protesting or not. You have no earthly idea. And I don't think anybody's going to the stadium during the national anthem thinking about, and thank you for the call, John, I don't think anybody's going to the games thinking about who's protesting today and who's not. As a matter of fact, when I go to a game and I'm there with my friends, or I'm there certainly with my wife and my kids, we stand, we put our hands over our heart, and that's what we tell our kids to do. Take off your hat, stand up, hand over your heart. That's what we tell our kids to do. And sometimes, while we're doing that, people are walking to their seats on the row, or walking to their seats, or strolling around the concourse, or going to the bathroom, or getting a hot dog, or buying a shirt during the national anthem. We're going to deport those people too? That's what's so difficult about it. That means one of the many difficult things about this. The latest example of what the president said today shows just why the NFL failed yesterday in what was, according to Jerry Jones, its intent to get things focused back on the field. If that was the intent of this new policy, all it has done is just created yet another national furor over it and the ability for the president of the United States to make some political hay with it. Now, I know there are some who hear me say something like that and are saying, well, how dare you say that the president's making some political hay with it? Because the situation as to why the players have demonstrated is not fixed by the fact that they're made to stand. All I got to do, if you're standing, then we're all set. Everything's good. No, we're not all set. This is about making the situation for many in our country better. Now, we can have an argument whether this is the proper forum in which to have the conversation, but we're having it. The follow-up question after President Trump said maybe players shouldn't even be allowed in the country, which is, again, I grew up around this man. I've listened to Trump for decades in New York City. It's the way he talks, but he does have the imprimatur of the seal of the president of the United States. So obviously this is raised to a certain level of seriousness because it comes out of his mouth as the president. But was the follow-up question, well, Mr. President, what are your thoughts on the reason why these arguments are taking place? What are your thoughts on the reason why the kneeling is happening? Oh, no, that wasn't the follow-up question. Follow-up question was, do you believe you had something to do with this policy? In case if you haven't seen it, you'll see where this interview took place and why that was the follow-up question. I want to have a conversation about this because somebody, I'm assuming, is going to tell the president of the United States that some of the people that he just casually threatened to deport because they won't come out for the national anthem, he has invited to the White House on June the 5th. They're coming to the people's house, or at least they've been invited there.
Yeah, he invited them.
We need a conversation. We need to talk and not at each other. And now, by saying that you think that the players should have something to say and stand for, figuratively, is now conflated with their stance on our police, on our military, and the police force as a whole. And unfortunately, the rules and the policy that was put into place yesterday says that players must show respect for the flag, which inherently says that those who were kneeling were disrespectful. Some people thought that, but that's not what their intent was. Can we talk about it? That's all. Just can we talk about the issues? The follow-up question wasn't, did you see the Sterling Brown video, Mr. President? That wasn't a follow-up question. I'd love for that to be a follow-up question. It doesn't have to be in front of a camera. It would be great to have this conversation, certainly when the Eagles go to the White House on June the 5th. Can that be had?
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.